So I'm out here in Silverton, Colorado, where the story for Christmas Vacation begins. This is where we first see the Griswolds out on their journey to get their perfect Christmas tree. There they go now. No, ironically, about where that car is, too far gone. Right behind that bend is where we first see the Griswolds' car emerge when they're going out to find their Christmas tree. Oh, now it's calmed down. So I'll turn the camera on and show you. So this is where we first see the Griswolds' car. They come from around that bend back there, and you see the car as they're going that way on their journey to get their Christmas tree. So, I mean, there's not much else to say about this. This is where the story begins. It's in Silverton, Colorado, which is about 20 minutes north of Frisco, where the Walmart is, and about another 20 minutes north of Breckenridge, where the ski sledding thing took place. And Breckenridge is also where they ultimately end up getting their Christmas tree. So it's about 40 minutes south of here. So they obviously pieced it together. What made them pick this particular part of town in Silverton, Colorado? Who knows? But this is it. This is where we first saw the Griswolds emerge on their quest to get their perfect Christmas tree for their perfect Griswold family Christmas. It's interesting that they've filmed in so many different places, and I probably don't have the angle exactly right because, you know, I'm trying to stay safe. Right about where that car is right now, that would have been the Griswolds on their way to get their Christmas tree. And as we all know, they had a little mishap. They accidentally got stuck under a truck. That was no fun. That was just up the road a bit. So yeah, this is where Christmas Vacation, the Christmas tree hunt, started. Silverton, Colorado. Who'd have thunk it, right? So this looks to be a pretty interesting spot. I think I am standing right about where the Christmas tree lot was in Christmas Vacation. Kind of a busy road. It's right next to a country club golf course. So can't tell exactly where the lot was, but it was right around. It could very well be right where I'm standing. You can see a very distinct mountain line in the shot. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show that to you. Can't believe this is where Clark's, car went over the snow and landed right into the parking lot for the Christmas tree lot. Right here. So I'll show you. Hold on. All right. So when you see the shot with the Christmas tree sign, and then you see Clark, the car jump over and land in the lot. This is the mountain line. Sounds like I'm saying mountain lion. This is the mountain line you see. You see those two dips up there. It goes up, and down and up. That is very distinctive in the shot. And then it kind of goes up again and comes all the way down. And then there's trees, because it's a Christmas tree lot. I believe that's it. I believe that is the backdrop that you see in the lot, in the scene of the Christmas tree lot. So now where exactly was the lot? Okay, well here's the road. He came right off the road, right? And I was told it was between this street. You see that street sign back there? Braddock, I think. Braddock, I think. And that street sign over there. Right in between these two. So it had to be right in this stretch, and we know it was on this side of the road. So the parking lot literally could have been where I'm standing right now, on this gravel area off the main road. I mean, it was fake, obviously. It wasn't a real Christmas tree lot. There's my car. That could have very well been where Clark landed. I'm pretty sure I'm standing right about where the parking lot was, where Clark did that mid-air jump and ended up in the fictional Christmas tree parking lot. Now where they walked and they actually did find their Christmas tree that they dug up out of the ground and took home was on hole number 3 on the Bear course at this golf course. This is a private course, so you have to be a member of the country club so there's no way I'm getting on it, but I'm pretty happy just with this, with finding this. Oh, Sparky. So it adds up, it lines up. Christmas Vacation, Christmas tree lot. I knew it was between those two streets, but I just didn't know if it would be that easy to line up. But that mountain line back there, there's no mistaking it. This is the spot. Clark, Ellen, oh my gosh, kids, right here. Oh, pinching myself. Very cool, very cool. I also found this behind the scenes production photo, and it shows the car in flight with the fence being the same type of fence that is around the golf course property. So right now I am out here at the Daley Plaza in downtown Chicago. Yes, the one with the Picasso, the one seen in the Blues Brothers as they drove onto the plaza and made their way over there. And the Bluesmobile died right in front of City Hall over there. The one and only. Don't think you can make a movie in Chicago without having 5 seconds of screen time of Daley Plaza. The Lake House had a scene here. While You Were Sleeping had a scene here. The Fugitive had some scenes here, and of course the Blues Brothers. And the one I'm going to talk about today is Christmas Vacation. So in the opening, when we have that montage, when they're showing us all of these classic Chicago landmarks that we only see for a second, we see the giant City of Chicago Christmas tree. And it's right in front of this building here. This building on the right with the rounded corner. You see about 2 windows to the right. Of course it goes much taller. And over here you see a few windows on up, and you kind of see that building in the background. I think I might even have to get a little further left so you can see that better. You see that one? It's kind of hard to get it, with a cell phone exactly how it was in the shot, but 2 windows over here. See that building way in the back? Of course you see this one, and you see this one, which seems to be undergoing some renovations. And the tree would have been right about here. I'm not exactly sure where. These are stairs down to the public transportation. Now there was like a fence around an area, and I'm wondering if they just used that railing and they disguised it. It was dressed up for Christmas. So anyway, it was right in this area that the tree was. So when you saw it for a brief second, they were out here at Daley Plaza in downtown Chicago. Just a few steps, just a hop, skip, and a jump from where the Bluesmobile died over there in front of City Hall. How about them apples? Now, there's somebody sitting there. I'm trying to make sure I don't get him in for his privacy. Chicago, the city of Chicago, no longer puts their annual Christmas tree here at Daley Center, Daley Plaza. Now it is erected in Millennium Park each year. So this is no longer used. I'm not even sure, I'm sure this has undergone renovations. This fountain, I don't recall exactly when this fountain was put in. The Picasso's still there, of course. I don't think that Picasso is going anywhere, ever. So right across the street there's a really nice mall. Every kind of shop you could want. Block 37, right across from the Picasso. There's not too much else to say about this one, other than this is where the city of Chicago's Christmas tree was in Christmas Vacation. And I'm glad they got it when they did, since they no longer put the tree here. I really love the way they covered some really great Chicago institutions. The Hancock Building, the old water tower, the Christmas tree erected at Daley Center or Daley Plaza, depending on what you call it. Different people call it different things. And this right here, yeah, pretty cool. I am now standing in front of a Chicago landmark, another one that we see in that montage at the start of Christmas Vacation. This is the Chicago Water Tower. It's an original structure. It's one of the few, maybe the only building to survive the Great Chicago Fire that destroyed and devastated so much of what existed in Chicago at the time. So it's very old, very beautiful, and it's because of the Chicago Water Tower that they built Water Tower Place, which is a shopping center right over there. So that is it from the montage, establishing shots, establishing that the story is taking place in Chicago, Illinois, or a suburb of it anyway. Right here at the Water Tower on Michigan Avenue in downtown Chicago. To be fully transparent, in the previous shot, my camera was facing west. However, when you see the water tower in the movie, the camera is facing south. I could not get that shot because, as you can see, they have installed a park which has some giant trees, and if I get too close to the building, you can't see past it, and if I get further back as I am now, well, the tree is in the way and all of the landscaping that they've installed. So you can't recreate that shot, but I've tried to show you the water tower regardless. The sun is really bright out here today, but now we are approaching another Chicago landmark, another Chicago institution, the Marshall Field and Company on State Street in downtown Chicago. Marshall Fields, to the chagrin of every Chicagoan, and I speak on behalf of all Chicagoans, Marshall Fields was sold and acquired to Macy's in 2005. Now, there's nothing wrong with Macy's, don't get me wrong, I like Macy's, but Marshall Field, it was something special. It was something unique. It was an institution. You know, here's where we had the Walnut Room, which is still here, by the way. At least they did not get rid of that. That was a tradition. They'd put up a huge Christmas tree at the Christmas season, and to come and dine at the Walnut Room during Christmas with the tree, like, it was just an annual tradition. So the dining room is still here, thankfully, but Marshall Fields is now owned by Macy's. They do still sell, they made these Frango mints that you could only get at Marshall Field, and they still have those, so that is good. And then up here, oh, that sun is bright, I might have to move. There's this clock, this green clock. It's been here forever, so that is a something left over from Marshall Fields. They did not get rid of it. Here's another Marshall Field sign indicating that this is the Washington Street sign, so it's State Street and Washington Street. So inside here, there was a quick establishing shot of Clark Christmas shopping for his wife, Ellen. And we're going to go inside, and I'm going to do my best to show you that. But this is where he was shopping in the story at Marshall Field, a Chicago institution. Okay, so I am now inside the old Marshall Field, which is now on Macy's. And here we have the establishing shot that you see in Christmas Vacation when Clark is Christmas shopping to get a present for his wife, Ellen. Now this is just an establishing shot here at Marshall Field because, again, they're trying to utilize a Chicago institution for all of these things since the Griswolds live in Chicago. You could see those railings over there. There's like 3 sections. Now I know I'm standing on the right side because behind me are elevators. So when you see that shot and you're seeing the other side of the opposite side of where I'm standing, there's no elevators over there, and there's no elevators in the shot. So this is where the camera would have been, as we see. Well, I don't even think we actually see Clark, to be honest. It's just an establishing shot. Now when they cut to him actually shopping, that is in Los Angeles. So the actual shopping is done at what was a store in Los Angeles. My understanding is it's not a retail establishment anymore. I think it's some type of educational building, if I recall correctly, but it's no longer a store. So this is where that establishing shot that we see very briefly in that montage, when Clark is going shopping, right before he starts talking to that pretty girl, and she lifts her skirt and talks about some lingerie to buy for Ellen. And check out this ceiling, by the way. Is that not gorgeous? It's actually kind of a shame they somehow didn't include that in the establishing shot. I would have done something like that if it were up to me, but hey, I'm no filmmaker. I just go to the places movies were made. So that's it. That establishing shot at Marshall Fields in Christmas Vacation when Clark is Christmas shopping for Ellen. Whew. It's a beaut. It's a beaut. It's so hot here. My hands are sweating and I'm afraid my phone is going to fall right out of my hand. It's so beautiful. The only thing that's missing is Christmas carols playing. And, well, all those Christmas decorations, I guess. Silly me. To be honest, I don't know that Chevy Chase ever even stepped foot in Illinois during the making of Christmas Vacation. All of the Chicago establishing shots that we see, there's no characters in them, like this one. And then when we do see them in a scene, in an interior, most of it is in LA, some of it's in Colorado, so I don't think he ever stepped foot in Chicago for the making of Christmas Vacation. Alright, that's a wrap on that one. On to the next. So, I'm standing out here on Michigan Avenue in downtown Chicago. A little noisy. And I'm standing in front of Clark Griswold's office building in Christmas Vacation. So, we only see it for a split second. The John Hancock building, on which the signature room exists on the 95th floor, very fine dining, is right here. Very famous landmark. So we see it very quickly. When we see Clark on the inside of his office building, it's actually a different office building down in Los Angeles. But when they show us the exterior of his office building, very, very briefly, this is it. So let me turn the camera around and show you. That is it, Clark Griswold's office building. It's shot from this angle. You kind of see a little bit of that building on the left and that building on the right. The camera is probably further back. I'm doing the best I can. So, John Hancock building, Clark Griswold's office building in Christmas Vacation. Also featured in Poltergeist 3. It was the apartment building that Carol Ann went to live in. But this is a Christmas Vacation video, so we're not going to talk about that. This is a little bit better. I am all the way on the edge of the street. There's the top of the Hancock Center. It's about the angle we see it in. Again, we see that building on the left and the building on the right. So this might be the best I can do. Clark Griswold's office building, y'all. I'm pretty excited to be standing here. You know, the Griswolds lived in Chicago, so a lot of those establishing shots in the film were right here in Chicago, even though a lot of it was filmed in Los Angeles on the Warner Brothers ranch lot, and of course some of it in Colorado. He's up there waiting for his big bonus so he could put in that pool for his family, and ultimately he's disappointed when instead he gets enrolled in the Jelly of the Month Club. Oh, Sparky. So here I am at the approximate location of a filming location. You're all familiar with the scene, the sledding scene, where Clark greased up that sled and went down the hill. It went out of control. He ended up in the street and eventually ended up crashing in a Walmart. So I'm told that the start of that scene was filmed here, on the top of Peak 8. And then, of course, it moved. The Walmart's in another town 20 minutes away. The street that he ended up in, you know, it wasn't filmed in sequence. But it's impossible to tell exactly where. So I'll turn the camera around, show you some things. So this is Peak 8. And I'm told that this is where the start of that scene was filmed. Now, if you watch the clip closely, you do see a bunch of trees. I'm sorry, I don't know what these trees are called, with very tall trunks, very tall, slender trunks. You kind of see those in the background. So was it possibly up there? You can see that's a slope going up. And you also see some buildings in the background, kind of lit up. And, I mean, here's some buildings, but really there's no slope down from this point. The only way to go down would be to be up there and come on down towards me. So I don't know. I do see some buildings up there. Let me see. There we go. You know, was it maybe somewhere up there? Because you can definitely see how up there maybe he could have come down. So I don't know. And also I'm going to walk a little further over to the left because maybe there's another area over there we could take a look at. But somewhere up here is where at least the beginning of that scene was filmed. At the top of Peak 8 in Breckenridge, Colorado. So I'm going to try and walk over a little bit further. It looks like they're doing some construction and some areas are blocked off. But we'll see what we can see. Could it have been the top of that hill? Maybe. There's a bunch of those trees with the tall, slender trunks, and we have a clearing. Could it have been there? Somewhere up here is where that scene was reportedly filmed. At least the beginning of it. Where they ended up was in an entirely different place. These buildings, they look too big. And honestly, over here seems like it might be the best candidate. Over there we have a clearing with those trees. A clearing where they could have been, and you have some buildings. So those could have been the buildings in the background. You know, I don't know. I don't know for sure. All I know is it was somewhere up here on top of this mountain. So sorry that's not more explicit, more helpful, but just know that the crew was up here somewhere. All right, I came out to this this area on a tip from a reliable source. Yesterday I was on top of the area where Clark Griswold greased up his sled and started his descent down the hill, although it's impossible to tell exactly where. So where I'm standing now apparently is I'm at the bottom, so you can kind of see the area that he came down. And I'm just kind of I don't know, I'm having a moment. It's my favorite Christmas movie of all. I'll turn the camera around and show you. I don't know that I can pinpoint the exact hill, but I was told that it was just this side of this intersection. I forget now if it was east or west, but this side of it. And so let me show you. So I'm standing on 4 o'clock Jump Road, off of Timber Trail is the main road, and then you take this turn off this 4 o'clock Jump Road, which is a dead end. There's homes around here, so this is a residential area. And looky here. This is all wet, and there's some construction going on, which I think yesterday, that area that was blocked off due to construction, I think that is where the descent began, and I just couldn't get to it because of the construction. So you can definitely see, you know, the slope coming down. You could see all different kinds of trees. You know, he kind of wove in and out of some different trees. I can't tell from here. Like I said, there were some buildings in the background of that scene when they were getting ready, when they were greasing up the sled. You could see some buildings in the background that were lit up. I can see some buildings up there. I see 3 different potential slopes that it could have been, but this is where it was. So I'm like I said, I'm kind of having a moment. Christmas vacation. Now, as we know, when he comes out, he goes over a snowbank and he lands in a street that's nowhere near here. And then he crashes into the Walmart, which is nowhere near here. So it was several different locations spliced together. But this is incredible. Somewhere in this area is where he started that descent down and came down the hill. I don't know how they did it. I really don't know how they did it. I'm sure that he wasn't really running out of control like that. I'm sure there was some special effects. And the Walmart where he crashes into is about 20 minutes away in Frisco. So he definitely did not sled all the way there. Yeah, I think everybody has their favorite Christmas movie. I think maybe it has something to do with your generation. For some, it's Home Alone. For some, it's Christmas Story. For me, it's definitely Christmas Vacation. Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Randy Quaid. I mean, it was a perfect movie. It was just absolutely perfect. So, not a lot of spots you can visit. The Griswold home is actually a home on the Warner Brothers ranch. So not the Warner Brothers studio, but Warner Brothers ranch. It's a small backlot, homes from Bewitched, Lethal Weapon, Partridge Family, the home currently being used for young Sheldon, and the Griswold house are all there, as is the pool. You know, when Clark is looking out the window and he's seeing this pool that he wanted to build with the lady in the red swimsuit and Cousin Eddie. That was a hilarious moment. That's all on the Warner Brothers ranch lot. That pool was also used in Gremlins. The scene where the gremlins get into the pool and multiply, they just built some fake walls around it because it is an outdoor pool. Anyway, as I'm filming this, that Warner Brothers ranch is slated for demolition. And those of us that enjoy this hobby are pretty sad about that, because all of that history is going to be demolished. So Clark Griswold's house, Clark and Ellen's house from Christmas Vacation, will soon be no more. And we're really sad about that. So whatever locations we can visit, I would like to see if I can't visit them all at some point. So really special to be here. So since when I was on site in Breckenridge, it was a little difficult to kind of see what I was talking about and pinpoint the exact area that the sled scene began, I thought I would take a look at it on this aerial map and maybe I could explain it to you a little bit better. So when I was on top of the mountain, I was right here by where it says One Ski Hill Place on Grandview Drive. In fact, if I zoom in, you'll see there's this Gold Runner coaster, which was not operational when I was there. And I was standing right on this area where there was construction going on. I believe somewhere in that area is where the top of the mountain was, where the scene began, and I just could not get to it. I did see some buildings in the background there. There were a few houses that could very well have been the houses that we see all decorated and all lit up in the background. In fact, when the camera's facing one way, you see those houses or buildings, and when it's facing the other way, you see a town. It's a night scene, so the homes are all lit up, and so here is the town of Breckenridge. So that all adds up. Now, when I was at the bottom of the mountain, I was here at the end of this road right here, 4 o'clock Run Road, which turns into Grandview Road, which goes all the way up to the mountain. So when I was standing here looking at these mountains, this in fact is where the scene was filmed. Now I don't know if it was right here or right here, but it was definitely filmed right in this area. One final thing I would like to add. So this Grandview Drive, and I think this is going to add a whole lot more clarity to the whole thing. Again, I was standing down here when I was at the bottom of the hill, and I was standing up here, right about here, when I was at the top of the hill. But when you look at that scene, when you see all of the other sledders, you do see a road kind of in the middle of this mountain, which I always thought was a little odd. And yes, it's covered in snow, but when you look closely, it definitely looks like a road. So that would just be further confirmation that it was somewhere in this area. Maybe it was over here, maybe it was over here. This area would have been higher than here, so that would sort of make sense. And this is the road that you're probably seeing. There really isn't any other area in these mountains where you see a road like this going through it. So I think that just further confirms that this is in fact the area where the scene was filmed, just kind of still can't pinpoint the exact spot. So hopefully that gives you a better look. Now down over here, if I move my map, is the Breckenridge Vehicle Maintenance Facility, and that was their base camp. That's where they set up base camp during filming. So it all makes sense that they were down here and they just had to go over here to this area right here to do the filming. So
I was at the top of it and I was at the bottom of it. But with the construction going on, I just could not pinpoint the exact spot, unfortunately. But it was definitely filmed right there. Christmas Vacation.
You're gonna sled down a mountain in a greased up sled? Are you serious, Clark? Well, I can't do that because I have this metal plate in my head, you see? Well, and if I dent it, if it gets dented, well then my hair, it just ain't gonna look right. All right, enough with that. On to the next spot. Hey there. So any of you that have watched any of my videos know that I get super excited when I'm at a filming location from a movie that was special to me. So I'm just beyond excited to be here right now. Gosh, so yeah, behind me is a Walmart. What's the big deal about a Walmart, right? Well, this particular Walmart, it's pretty special. This Walmart is in Frisco, Colorado, and this is the Walmart that Clark Griswold crashed into at the end of his epic sled run in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This is the one, and it looks exactly the same, at least from the outside. I'm gonna try to go in later and I don't know, see if I can stack up some Purina dog chow and Old Roy. We'll see how amenable they are to that. But yeah, let me show you. I mean, it's uncanny how much it hasn't changed. I'll turn the camera on and show you. So here is that Walmart. It is located here in Frisco, Colorado. Now the Griswolds lived in Chicago, so they must have had to do something to erase the mountains, or maybe you just couldn't see them because it was dark. Because this is in Colorado, Frisco, Colorado. That is it. That is the Walmart, the one and only that, well, it's not only here is where Clark crashes on his sled, but it's also where Clark and Cousin Eddie go Christmas shopping, and Cousin Eddie stocks up on Purina dog chow and a little bit of Old Roy. Now in the scene, that light pole on the right, that might still be the original because there's poles on both sides and they're lit up. The one on the left seems to have been moved. It used to be a lot closer to the brick columns like the one on the right. So I don't know, they could both be new, but there's still two lights here. They're just not exactly, maybe both in the same location. Maybe not the original lights. That's the Walmart. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here. Now when I turn my camera the other direction, you will see the area where Clark jumped over that big mound of snow and landed in the parking lot. It would have been right around here. You can see the light fixtures are the same style. Of course, there are trees there now and a ravine, but this would have been filled with snow, and over the hill he went. So that was just pieced together. The part where he starts sliding down, that's about 20 minutes away in Breckenridge on top of one of the ski slopes. And then when he enters the road, that's in a different spot. Of course, once he hits the parking lot, that's another cut, and he slides until he crashes into the Christmas display, something like Toys for Tots or something to, you know, a charitable collection for children for Christmas time. And that finally ends his his little experience with the toboggan or sled or whatever you might call that thing that he decided to grease up right here at this Walmart. It's so exciting to be here. Unbelievable. It really looks so much the same. Very little has changed. So this is the Walmart. It's just like any other Walmart. And over here, it says it's the pet section. So let's go see. Pet care. So this is the pet food aisle. This is specifically the dog food aisle. Now, when they were picking up the dog food bags, they weren't picking them up from the main shelf. They were picking them up from a display in the center aisle. So let's see. Here we go. Purina dog chow and Old Roy. They still carry them. So we'll see what we can do here. I wish I could tell you I was borrowing the RV, but it's mine. We live in it. We blew into town on fumes. I can't get the kids anything for Christmas. We don't know what we're going to do. Cousin Eddie, one of a kind. Oh, gosh. Wally World. Well, honestly, that went a lot better than I thought. I wasn't sure how I was going to pull that off. I wasn't sure if they were going to be amenable to it. I thought if I brought my tripod in, it might call attention to it. Didn't look like there was anyone around I could really ask. So I just asked a nice lady if she wouldn't mind helping me out. And she did. So I got to tell you, the people here in Colorado, they're just so incredibly nice. I've just met nothing but nice people here. I really, like, seriously, I'm awestruck by the kindness, gentlemen opening doors and things like that. So it's a very nice place to visit here in Colorado. All the times you watched Christmas Vacation, did you ever think that right behind this Walmart were these beautiful mountains? Did you ever think it was even filmed in Colorado? Since the Griswolds live in Illinois, like they were just they're having Christmas celebration with their family in their home in Illinois, and they took everybody, to the hill to go sledding or tobogganing or whatever. And they do their Christmas shopping at this Walmart, where Clark unfortunately ends up. Wow. Walmart.
Bingo.
Well, this is a surprise. I actually have one more location from Christmas Vacation. I did not think I would be out here in California again this year, but as luck would have it, I am. So, I know you can't see it. Lots of bushes, lots of shrubs, but this was the home of Frank Shirley, Clark's boss in Christmas Vacation. It's on Kenneth Avenue in Glendale, California. So who can forget the incredible scene, Clark Griswold's rant. He's been waiting for his Christmas bonus. He's waiting. Finally a messenger arrives with an envelope and he thinks that's it. He's already put a deposit down on that swimming pool, right? So he needs that bonus. But when he opens the envelope, he finds out that his boss, Frank Shirley, has enrolled him in the Jolly of the Month Club. His boss, selfish Frank Shirley, decided to forego bonuses for the employees that year in order to save some funds. And Clark Griswold goes into this hilarious rant. It starts with, if anybody wants to get me a last minute Christmas gift, I want Frank Shirley in my house right now so I can tell him what a low down rotten scumbag, blah blah blah. There's no way I could recite it all. It is one of the most funny scenes in that movie. So Cousin Eddie, God bless Cousin Eddie, well-meaning Cousin Eddie, decides to go to Frank Shirley's house and pull the poor man out of bed and bring him to the Griswold abode. So this is the home of Frank Shirley. And as I said, you can't really see much, but I'll see if I can show you anything more than this. We'll take a peek. So I was actually surprised to find it on, a relatively busy street over here. When you see that house in the movie, it looks like it's in some swanky suburb, just, in a nice quiet cul-de-sac. But instead, Kenneth Boulevard is a relatively busy street here in Glendale, California. Kenneth in Virginia over there. So that is the street, and what is this? Built in 1922 by Madison Boyd Jones. Frequently used as background for motion pictures, television, and commercial filming, but of course it does say that it's a private residence. Of course it is. So I'm trying to keep my distance and be respectful. They have beautiful gardens over here. Obviously, nice big gate, so you can't see the house, but it's back there. If If I were taller, maybe you would see more of it. You'll recognize the pillars in front. I remember seeing the pillars when Cousin Eddie pulled away once he got Frank Shirley into his little RV there. So it actually looks like a beautiful, beautiful home. Too bad we can't really see more of it. I'm just gonna take a walk here. So it looks to be a circular driveway because there's one gate here and there's another gate. Noisy. There's another gate over there where that red truck is coming out of. But just look at this. Isn't it beautiful? You can kind of see it peeking out back there. Peeking up. If there's an opening somewhere or I can get a better picture, that would be great. But still, it's pretty cool just to be walking here in front of the home where we know that scene was filmed. Randy Quaid would have been out here, I assume, unless it was somebody else driving the RV for that scene. And anything is possible when it comes to Hollywood magic. And that is the other gate. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. I had an idea. Lots of people around here. Cross the street to see if you can get a better view from it. I didn't think I could. Looks like the ground is level, but surprise! So ta-da! There we have it. Frank Shirley's house from Christmas Vacation. Definitely get a better view of it from over here. There's some construction going on behind me. But there it is. There's those pillars that are so recognizable. You have the mountains behind it. Lots of cars driving by. There's that gate. And just beyond, we know, is the circular driveway that you cannot see. But that is it. That is Frank Shirley's house from Christmas Vacation. I'm so excited. I'm so glad I walked over here.
I want him brought right here with a big ribbon on his head. And I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no-good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is. Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
That was priceless. And I will share with you, as we all know, the SWAT team arrives and they yell, everybody freeze. So the whole family freezes. And I found this hilarious. When I met Beverly D'Angelo earlier this year, I asked her if it was a little awkward for her to have to kind of cup Chevy Chase's privates in that scene. And she said, no, it wasn't awkward at all. In fact, it was my idea. I improvised it. So that was not even in the script. It was just something she did on her own, which I thought was hilarious. Okay, that is so much better. So there you have it. Frank Shirley's house from Christmas Vacation. Where Cousin Eddie took him out of his nice warm bed, kidnapped him, tied him up with rope, and brought him over to the Griswold house to make him pay for his crimes. And in the end, it all worked out. Frank Shirley decided he wasn't going to press any charges. He realized the error of his ways. Of course, his wife showed up in her beautiful peignoir, and she was equally disgusted with him for doing away with the employee bonuses that year. So, it all had a happy ending. It started right here, though, Frank Shirley's house. Hope you liked it. Bye.
For Christmas vacation. For Christmas vacation.